You are now tuned into the DFPN, the Dat Feelin' Podcast Network.
Oh my God, this is going to be fun to watch.
This is Wrestling with My Thoughts. Ooh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Wrestling with My Thoughts. This time we're live on Facebook. Want to thank you guys for tuning into the show today. So if you're watching, please leave a comment. This is going to be a good one, I think. So we'll try to make this one as interactive as possible. But first, before we get into that, let me go ahead and shout out the sponsors. Welcome to the Wrestling with My Thoughts. So first shout out we got is to Get the Plugs. Go to www.gettheplugs.com. Enter in your promo code INT15 for a 15% discount off of your headbuds. Premier quality. Go to www.audioswim.com, and then finally go to Premier Element, www.Premier Element. They do wonderful services. Shout out to the Dat Feelin' family. Go to the Dat Feelin' Bandcamp, subscribe. Go to datfeelin.bandcamp.com, and you will get access for $3 for all of Dat Feelin's library. And your boy's going to be on there very, very shortly with another album. So go there. This episode will be live and free on our Patreon, ad-free that is, on our Patreon. So go to www.patreon.com/datfeelinpodcast, and you'll be able to get this episode early as tonight, maybe. We also had a very, very good interview with a hip-hop legend yesterday that is going to be available on there. It's actually up there right now. Brother Marquise from the 2 Live Crew was up there. So go to Dat Feelin' Patreon. Go to patreon.com/datfeelinpodcast. And today is Merch Monday. So if you do have any merch, post it in the pictures. I put one up in the group. There's also one in the Smoke Pit. We're going to put one up on the Dat Feelin' Podcast Facebook page. So if you do have merch, please go and post a picture, hashtag Merch Monday, on either Wrestling with My Thoughts, Smoke Pit, or the Dat Feelin' Podcast Facebook page, and you will be able to get entry to a drawing that we will be having at the end of this week. So that is our words. We do have merch. If you don't have any merch, go to the Teespring. Go to www.teespring.com and look for Dat Feelin' Podcast, and you will get access to our merch. We have some really cool stuff. I will be dropping a line for the Wrestling with My Thoughts. We'll be updating that line as well. So yes, and more yes. So without further ado, man, let's get into the show. Today we're going to be talking about the Fastlane fallout. We're going to be going over the Andrade release and what exactly happened here, because I'm not too sure. So if you're in the comments, feel free to put me up on some game. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know what exactly happened that led to his release. I know there was some statements. I know he requested his release and everything. So, hey, man, he got future endeavor, and that makes me kind of sad. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Andrade, and then we'll be talking about what exactly Fastlane means for Wrestlemania. So, first things first, let's talk about Fastlane. The card itself wasn't bad. I know they had, in the pre-show, they had Riddle versus Mustafa Ali, and earlier in the day, I kind of felt like a Retribution breakup was imminent. And the reason that happened is because Mia Yim tweeted a picture with half of her reckoning and the other half of Mia Yim, right? So that came out earlier in the day, which led me to believe, and shout out to DC, Francisco DC. Shout out to you, brother, for posting that up. That kind of alerted me that maybe Retribution was going to be breaking up. So the talk at the time was maybe Mia Yim would leave Retribution, but once Mustafa Ali lost to Riddle in the pre-show, so they all kind of walked out. Reckoning walked out earlier, and then everybody else just walked out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them, because this was an angle that really fit only of them. That angle was screwed from the get-go, but they stuck with it. Brought in Ali to kind of help with it. It didn't really help that much. It just, there was so much potential there. Like, they came out firing, all guns blazing, destroying the set. It was cool. And then now, who knows, man, what the hell is going to happen. I would love to see Dominic whatever his last name is, Djokovic, be on his own. And, you know what I'm saying, him and Keith Lee did wonderful things. I would love to see a feud with him and Keith Lee coming out of this as himself, because, listen, they put on classic matches in NXT. They put on classic matches in Evolve. And that would just make perfect sense. But Reckoning is gone. Everybody else is gone. Slapjack is gone. T-Bar is gone. There is no more Retribution. They're done. You know what I mean? They are done for the long haul. So shout out to Retribution. You know what I mean? So we kicked off Fastlane with the women's tag match. And again, more predictability. I kind of knew this was coming too. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax ended up defeating Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair, and those two, Bianca and Sasha, went at it afterwards. But the main thing here is they'll be battling each other at WrestleMania. So that was kind of a setup. I feel like the whole Fastlane itself was like, it was a setup that didn't really need setting up. You know what I mean? Like, nobody lost the title. I'll just tell you that out front. Nobody lost the title. A whole bunch of angles will work. The only thing that really stuck out to me was the Shane match, right? Big E beat Apollo Crews, but that was actually an entertaining match. Big E was talking mad shit during that match. I loved it. They both were. What's also interesting to me is they got Apollo Crews on his Wakanda shit now. Like, he's bringing out the accent more. Very interested to see where this goes afterwards. Very, very interested to see where this goes. But they had him on his Black Panther shit. He's repping Nigeria now. I'm a fan of that. You know what I mean? I like that. Give me more of that. He was telling Big E after he lost to him that it's not over. He attacked him, walked out proud. It was a sloppy finish. Low-key 1, 2, 3. I don't know what was happening there. Then he attacked him just to get like a few more licks in. It was cool. It was cool. I'll give him that. It was cool. So it needed a little bit more though. Needed a little bit more. Then you had Braun Strowman was supposed to take on Shane McMahon. I don't know if this injury is legit, but Shane said he got injured pre-match warm-up, and he had ice on his knee, was hobbling around on crutches. Elias filled in for him. It was a squash match. Again, the first match didn't need to be there. This match definitely didn't need to be there. You know what I mean? Like, it was... I don't know, man. It was weird. It was weird. The whole setup was weird. You know what I mean? It was a squash match. Elias got no offense in. And Seth versus Shinsuke was cool. It was a good match. Very, very good match. Rollins ended up picking up the fall. Overall, not a bad match. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Probably the best match of the night. Hard hitting for as long as they want.
This episode is brought to you in part by AudioSwim. Go to audioswim.com today and upload your tracks for as little as $5 a track. Premier Element UAE. Go to www.premierelement.com and get your representation. They don't do just music, they do sports as well. And also, Get the Plugs. Go to www.gettheplugs.com. Enter in code INT15 on checkout and you will get a 15% discount. Oh, and you don't have to pay for them up front. They also accept Suzzle. Now back to the show.
McIntyre picked up the win, but this was an absolute knockdown, drag-out fight. You know what I mean? They fought. No holds barred, they fought. Just like they did the last time, but if they did it the last time, why are you doing it again? You know what I mean? That's just, it's unnecessary. He beat him already. He beat him again. What are we trying to prove? What exactly are we trying to prove to each other? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. But overall, it was still a good match. I ain't gonna shit on the match. It was good. It was a great match. Hard hitting. They do what they do. Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. You knew the Fiend was coming. You knew the Fiend was coming. We knew. You didn't have to tell us that. He was coming already. You just might as well say the Fiend is returning. But then, so the Fiend comes out of the ring, pulls his hand up, grabs Randy Orton. He comes out looking like, I don't know, Kane mixed with Mankind. Like what? He looked wow. He looked wow. Like, what did y'all do to him? Like, now we got to call him, you know what I'm saying, Kane kind. Is what he's looking like out here. He's looking like Kane kind, like a mix between Kane and Mankind. He had the eye like Kane when he first came out. Fire comes out of the turnbuckles. He looks charred. The outfit that he was in looks charred. Like, what are we going for? Hey, I ain't hating on it. Like, give me more, but y'all gotta clean this shit up, bro. Clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we going here? Did we really, like, wasn't he already badass enough, bro? Like, he's a reincarnation of Bray Wyatt. Anyway, Alexa Bliss picks up the win because of the Fiend. He came back, gave him the Sister Abigail. I ain't got nothing for it, bro. I ain't got nothing for it. It's Then finally, the match of the night, the main event of the night. I don't know if it was match of the night. It was a good match. Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. And again, like, if this was to set up anything for WrestleMania, nobody lost the championship. You know what I'm saying? Nobody lost the championship. Like, there was, like, the point of Fastlane is, like, really to see who's the threat. And somebody could end up taking the belt. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we thinking about here? What are we thinking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what exactly are we thinking about? Like, the goal is, like, Daniel Bryan put on a great match. He really did. He had Roman Reigns in trouble, had him tapping out. Now, one of the comments is, like, set up a three-way for Mania. I agree with that. Because he has a legitimate claim saying that he made Roman Reigns tapped out, right? He had him tapped out in the middle of the ring. He tapped out, ended up losing the match due to interference. And y'all got to cut this interference shit out too, bro. Like, in wrestling as a whole, cut the interference shit out. Like, use it sparingly. Like, Roman is starting to win on more interference than actual clean pins. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me more clean shit. He's a badass, bro. He's badass. Keep giving him the clean win. Like, don't do this dirty finish bullshit with him all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's actually a legitimate guy now. All right, give him some clean wins. But I get it. Wrestling fans are fickle. Like once he starts getting clean wins, it's like, all he does is win. Comes back and win. I get it. Maybe I'm complaining too much. But I would love to see him get like more clean wins. Give him something on the plate. Like these guys, the Daniel Bryans, and like if he is a legitimate threat, cool. Like, but give him a clean win. That means like he's unfuckwittable. You know what I'm saying? Like he's unfuckwittable. Nobody can fuck with this dude. You know what I'm saying? And another comment: Roman wins recently have all been due to Jay helping all the time. This is very true. Jay Uso has been the savior on more occasions than none. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in my brain, I'm like, I need to see him with a reign of terror, then The Rock comes out. Like in my brain, that's how I'm booking it. Like, I need to see him go on a reign of terror, clean wins, destroy everybody, Rock comes out. And then you can use Jay Uso for the high chief angle. That's how you do it. Like, destroy everybody. What his shirt says, wreck everybody and leave. You know what I'm saying? Oh no. If they're setting up a three-way, listen, if they are setting up a three-way in which Edge wins, this better not be the case. He should not pin Daniel Bryan. It should be a one-on-one, right? It should be a one-on-one. And if you're going to have interference, have Jay Uso come out, and then maybe Daniel Bryan come out, and then make the save for for Edge. You know what I'm saying? To make it be like, I can't win it, but goddamn it, I see what you sacrificed to get here. Something along those lines. But no. First of all, they should not have a three-way. Second of all, if they do have a three-way, Edge should not be pinning Daniel Bryan. I don't want that to happen. All three guys. And what would have made more sense to me, realistically, is if we'd have had Edge versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. And then the narrative be, I know what it feels like to come back from the dead. You know what I mean? I know what it feels like to say your career's over, your career's done, and you're never going to get a championship opportunity. And then, you know what? You deserve it, Edge, but so do I. And you know what? This may be my last shot at getting a championship opportunity. This may be the last time. So if I have to go through you to get it, damn it, that's how it's going to be. And then you have Edge go over. But the storyline's way more compelling than what they put out. You know what I'm saying? Like, have it do that way. They aren't going to let Roman lose by Edge pinning them. They probably won't. My guess is Roman's going to come out of WrestleMania clean. That's my guess. He's going to come out clean at WrestleMania. And that just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So again, what does this all mean for Mania? What does this mean for Mania? Right? Because last night was a lot of opportunities and a lot of wasted opportunities. They could have built on something, but they didn't. Now it's just, I have more questions going into WrestleMania. And whoever this is, I'm thinking it's D. Whoever this is, leave in the comments. That should have been a storyline last night. It should have been. Because now you give Edge a tune-up match before Mania. You give him a tune-up match before Mania. And then he comes out. Oh, what's up, Jess? So you give him a tune-up match before Mania, and he goes into Mania stronger. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't bring him to Mania. He's involved enough as it is. Obviously, he was involved last night, right? He was involved last night. He's involved enough. Damn it, put him in a match. Put him in a match. And he'll probably have a match before Mania. And then it'll make less sense because it's not like you're behind. You're behind in the storyline, to me. So it is what it is. But what does that mean for Mania? So out of this, we're probably going to have Sasha versus Bianca announced officially on Friday. You'll probably get that. Raw tonight will probably announce somebody.
What's good, people? It's the homie Mac, aka your boy. And hold up real quick, let me turn this down a bit. Alright, there we go, that's better. Yo, so y'all caught me in the middle listening to one of the many Dat Feelin exclusives available only to Bandcamp subscribers. To get this track, along with the others, go to www.datfeelin.bandcamp.com and sign up for only $3 a month. Not only are there bonus tracks, but full albums that haven't been released to the general public, and new music being added regularly. So head over to www.datfeelin.bandcamp.com now and do what you gotta do to hear some dope music. Alright, I'm done with y'all. Back to my vibe.
Deep stroking, moving with more ease than military promotion.
Riddle will probably have a challenger. We do know that Drew McIntyre will be challenging Bobby Lashley, because that was announced last night during the broadcast. Now he's going on to face Lashley, but now you got to build that storyline, and you have 3 weeks to do it. So good luck making them look as strong as possible. My correction is it's already been announced for Sasha versus Bianca. So you'll probably get something out of that. The tag team championships, no word on that. They haven't been focusing on it. There wasn't even a match for it last night. So who knows? So you probably got to find tag team championships, which will probably be on the Wrestlemania pre-show. The United States Championship needs a challenger, which you don't have one. Probably Seth versus Riddle makes more sense because Seth was just out there. Probably makes more sense. Or Shinsuke versus Riddle, which would be a definite good match. But he lost last night, so now you gotta make up for that. Or you have Shinsuke versus Rollins, and the winner that gets the United States opportunity. Big E versus Apollo looks more likely for WrestleMania, but if not Big E versus Apollo, because it looks like they're trying to drag this feud out longer. Big E versus Apollo at WrestleMania. Oh yeah, you're right. New Day versus AJ and Omos at Mania. So yeah, you'll probably get some matches announced. Who else doesn't have? So the women's tag team championships probably won't be defended at Mania, which they need to build more women's tag teams. You know what I mean? Like legitimate and do it the old way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't just be meshing people together. You got to have legitimate tag teams. Like where the hell is the Iconics? I'm asking myself this legitimately. Like where are they? Because we need more people. At least they were a legit tag team, work together. You know what I mean? Like, like we need more women's tag teams. So that's it. So at this point, we're going to take a break. For the people in the comments, we're going to stay up. But if you're listening, we're going to take a break. And then we'll be right back here on Wrestle With My Thoughts.
To hear these episodes completely ad-free, go to www.patreon.com/datfeelinpodcast. Subscribe today for as little as $3, and you will get all these episodes ad-free. Again, that's www.patreon.com/datfeelinpodcast. Now enjoy the rest of the show.
The future endeavor situation that we got last night with Andrade. It was reported that he had been asking for his release, and he had been bring back the outsiders. He had been asking for his release, and he was granted it yesterday. it's been reported that he had some issues with either management and how they were booking him. And by his tweet that he put out, he thanked everybody but Vince McMahon, basically. So there was a report that said he wasn't able to use the Spanish accent to promote during promos. So that's a weird way to request your release. I don't know what happened there, but he was engaged to Charlotte. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, if they broke up, but he requested his release and he is no longer with the company. Now, reports are that he may be end up in AEW. I think they need to sign this guy ASAP. Honestly, they need to sign him ASAP. Like, pen's dry. As soon as that 90 days is up, buddy, you show up and you get to work. And there's so many pairings that you can do with this guy. So many. A match with him and Penta is just like at the top of my brain. I need to see it. He was a star in Mexico. He could go back to AAA. AAA has a working relationship with AEW. It'll make sense. And I think he's just going to do what makes sense for him. But it would be wise for either Impact or AEW to reach out to this guy while he's still in America. And please come join one of our companies. Impact AEW has a working relationship, so that'll make sense. AEW has a working relationship with almost everybody but New Japan and WWE, so it'll make sense. He can go compete wherever he want to go. That would be fire if he ended up in AEW. I just don't want to see him on his grumpy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because AEW is getting a knock on people showing up that have been released or cut or fired, and like they cut promos like I was being held back. I don't want to see that narrative no more. Like, I don't need it. Like, just show up and start whooping ass, bro. Like, that's all you got to do. Show up and whoop somebody's ass, beat the shit out of them, and let them know this is why I'm beating the shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? This is what the world should have seen. Me beating the shit out of you in this ring. Because that dude is hard as shit, bro. Pause. He can go. You know what I'm saying? He can go. I would love to see him pair up with Vega too. You know what I'm saying? Pair up with Vega. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they got the Death Triangle there. You know what I'm saying? They got the Death Triangle there. Just throwing that out. You know what I'm saying? Throwing that out. Oh, here's a comment. AEW is slowly becoming the WWE releases go-to, though. Kind of looks bad to me. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Regardless of how you see it, right? Regardless of how you see it, AEW is now an option that wasn't there before. So if it wasn't AEW, then these guys have to go to Japan, which kind of flew out of your radar because they weren't in the country. Now they have a place to go in America, and that place just happens to be AEW. They could have ended up in TNA or Impact, right? They could have ended up in Impact. So I think you'd be saying the same thing if they ended up in Impact. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, AEW is a legitimate second company. And that comment kind of validates that shit. Like, it's becoming the WWE release. Where the fuck else they gonna go? You know what I'm saying? They're on national TV. They're on national TV. They have a TV deal. They're being pumped out. And it just so happens you can see their face again. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I don't like is when they show up and they be like, I've been held back. Or blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that. But AEW is a legitimate second company now. So they can go there. They have TV time. They can be on TV. If not, they got AEW Dark. They got AEW Dark Elevation now. There's options. And that shouldn't be a bad thing if you're a wrestling fan. You know what I mean? That should not be a bad thing if you're a wrestling fan. That's called an option. So if you like this guy in WWE and thought he should have had enough TV time or a shot to do what he does best, now he has an option to where you can see him again. That's a good thing for a wrestling fan. That's not a bad thing. So don't knock that. You know what I'm saying? Don't knock it. They have the means to do it. And hell, if it gets big enough, they start traveling again, it will become a problem for WWE. Because now you have more crowds seeing this guy. And now you have more crowds more people in that crowd that are seeing this guy for the first time. Because their friend brought somebody that didn't like wrestling to an AEW show, and they'll be like, oh, holy shit, who is this guy? Yeah, that guy was he's Miro now, but he was Rusev in WWE. You know what I mean? There it is. There's your introduction. It shouldn't be a bad thing at all. If you're a wrestling fan, you should love that shit. Like, good comment. It's called competition. You know what I'm saying? It's called competition. That's what they have. WWE now has legitimate competition. And now what I'm really curious to see is what happens when NXT goes Tuesday. Then we're going to see the scope of the competition. Because Wednesday will belong solely to AEW. And listen, Dynamite, the pay-per-views aren't always that great, but Dynamite is pretty much always great. They rarely have a bad one. So, hey, tap in. And again, this comment here, they could tap into the Latin market big time. They're already in it. They're already in it. Because you have so many AAA stars down there that they are in that market. And they can go promote Kenny Omega in AAA because he's a champion in AAA. The dude is going to beat Thanos. And then he's challenging Rich Swann for the Impact Championship. So there you go. And the more people they work with, the better it is. They're doing what pretty much needs to be done in wrestling. They want to work with WWE, from what I hear. I don't think WWE will ever work with them, but they want to work with WWE. They leave that door open. So, yeah, man. Another comment. It's good for the business or fans, especially if they come together for an NXT, WWE, and AEW crossover pay-per-view. Yes. You know what this reminds me of? When the Tank from WWE, when DX showed up to Monday Nitro. And Monday Nitro never let him in. Had they let them in, do you know how crazy the wrestling world would have went? If DX would have showed up on Monday Nitro, ape shit. Absolute pandemonium. Like, they should have let him in. I would have been like, let them in. You know why? Because all that attention is about to come over here. Let them in. AEW is now in the tank. And WWE needs to let them in. They need to let them in. ASAP. Don't play with them. Another question. Do you think Jim Cornette could help AEW? Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, he can help them because regardless of all the shit Jim Cornette talks about AEW, he may be just the guy to elevate them. Right? Give them a little bit more structure. And other than that, no. Because he hates the way they do business. And I could see him bumping heads with a whole bunch of them. So, no, I don't think that would happen. Another comment. They tried that back in the day with AWA, JCP, and WCCW and worked the pay-per-view and it fell because of ego. Yes, it will fail because of ego. But My hunch is Tony Khan isn't a person of ego. So he'd be willing to get it done. Now, once you start talking streams and revenue and all that good stuff, now I don't know. I don't think Vince will be willing to part with it. Maybe he'll try it. So, but you always got to watch Vince, though. You always got to watch Vince. Keep that close because he will take over you in a heartbeat. So, yeah, I agree with that. But let me know what y'all think. Leave it in the comments. Thank you for the comments for today. Oh, in case you didn't see it, this is me repping the WWE champion, Universal Champion, holding this belt strong. Thank you to the homie, D. Francisco DC. Thank you for that. Shout out to everybody. Once again, if you do have the merch, man, go ahead and post it in the group. If not in the group, post it in the Smoke Pit or That Feeling Podcast Network Facebook page. It is Merch Mondays. We do have a drawing that we will be entering everyone who posts pictures in the groups. We'll keep your name, and then we'll enter it into a drawing, and then you will be able to get some free stuff out of it. So grab your merch. If you don't have the merch and you're in the Wrestling With My Thoughts Facebook page, go to the announcements. There is a link to the merch in the announcements. Go get you some gear. Again, I will be dropping some merch here soon. But till then, y'all stay safe, stay cool, stay out of trouble. This is your homie, Bred Like a King, made as Kelvin K. Lee. Thank you for tuning in with Wrestling With My Thoughts this week. Peace.